2015 was such an important year for me when it comes to gaming. It really is the year when I realized what I did like and what I didn't. One of my most vivid memories of very early in 2015 is playing Far Cry 4. I actually enjoyed the game as a whole. Killing dudes with tigers was a lot of fun, and some of the more weird sections were very visually pleasing. But apart from liberating a million towers, my most vivid memory of that game is the intro cutscene. The intro cutscene to Far Cry 4 is over 9.5 minutes long. 9.5 minutes of a video game where you aren't even playing the game. Even while Pagan Min was relentlessly stabbing that guy in the side of the neck, all I could think was, who is this guy and why should I care? I understand that the whole point of the cutscene is to introduce me to the story and the characters, and to show off Pagan Min.
Really guys, we're not checking for these anymore?
But in a video game, the way to do it should be through gameplay and not 10 minutes of cutscene. Watching it back now, it's actually quite good.
Well, go on, take the bloody bag off his head!
But when I had absolutely no connection to any of the characters, because I hadn't got a chance to play the game yet, it was just a roadblock keeping me from the part that I actually wanted to experience, the gameplay. Then I played Bloodborne. In comparison, Bloodborne's intro cinematic lasts 2.5 minutes, or 2 hours if you spend the correct amount of time making your perfect waifu. It's made up of 30 seconds of some guy answering a question we didn't hear, and then, after you sign your contract, 2 minutes of metaphorical fun times that also make no sense, unless you've went mad with insight. Then you're immediately up on your feet running about and dying. No explicit tutorials, no lengthy exposition, just good old-fashioned hunting. And it's basically been like that for me ever since. I pretty much decide whether I want to watch an intro cutscene in the first 5 seconds of it starting, and sometimes it hooks me, and sometimes it doesn't. Maybe I just have a terrible attention span, but I always feel like I'm being asked to care about characters that I don't even know. I think preparation can actually increase my tolerance for cutscenes quite dramatically. If I buy a game knowing full well it's going to be a big AAA story, I'll usually try to pay attention the entire time, because I've psyched myself up for it beforehand. I know what I'm getting into. Games like Red Dead Redemption 2 and The Last of Us, I was totally up for whatever they had to say, because I was buying them to experience their story, and they both live up to it.
Who are you? Rip Van Winkle.
Conversely, if I'm playing a game mostly for the gameplay, because I want to get to the gameplay so bad, my patience for pointless expository introductions becomes almost zero, and I keep hammering the start button trying to skip it. I feel bad about skipping so many intro cutscenes, and I'm sure I missed some good stuff, but I just feel it would be so much better if it played them after I've had a bit of control, and it feels like I'm playing the game instead of just waiting for it to start. In The Last of Us, you're given control of Sarah after just 3 minutes of introduction, and even though the intro cutscene is well written with a lot of personality, I feel like that small amount of control at the start is what really hammers home the end of the introduction. It was at that exact moment that I knew The Last of Us would be both heartbreaking and amazing. It just feels like on the whole, the quicker I get to control my character, the more connected I become to them, and the more I feel invested in the story. Instead of just watching a 10-minute movie, I'm actually really playing the game. Nier Automata does a great job of this, and even though it has some long cutscenes, you're controlling 2B within the first minute of the game, and killing enemies about 10 seconds later. God of War takes this one step further, and has you swinging your axe as Kratos in the first 30 seconds. You aren't using it to kill enemies yet, you're using it to chop firewood for your dead wife's cremation. It's such a powerful scene, and made all the greater by the fact that you aren't just watching it happen, you're the one doing it. It's followed by another 5 minutes of cutscenes, but because it's so seamless, and because I've already carried the wood as Kratos, it doesn't feel like I'm watching Kratos in the cutscene, it feels like I am him. Basically, what I'm trying to say here is that games are games, And for that reason, when I start one of them for the first time, I expect to be able to play them rather than get bored trying to skip what amounts to half an episode of TV worth of expository dialogue.
Die hard, man.
Giving me even a little bit of control in the beginning of a game can increase my tolerance for long introductions and make me so much more involved with the narrative going forward. Thank you to Santa Monica Studios for this R1 prompt. Thank you to Sarah for breaking my heart. And thank you for watching. Cheers.